T. This is the Experience Pros Radio Show. Got an opinion or want to ask us a question? Email radio@experiencepros.com or message us on the Experience Pros Facebook page, and we'll interact with you live on the show.
Hey, welcome back to the Experience Pros Radio Show. We do want to interact with you live here on the show. Lots of ways to do that, but perhaps the most efficient way is to reach out by way of our Facebook Live video. We shoot a video of every episode that we do here, and you can engage with us and our speakers as well by just lifting up or typing in a comment.
Absolutely. Would love to interact with you. And for many of you know, I've been out for the last couple of days, not feeling good. It seems like everybody in Colorado has the ick. And so we have just kind of emergencyed and re-drugged up, and we're all good to go. We're going to be healthy from
medicated.
We are going to be healthy from here on out. I want to introduce to you our celebrity, our favorite speaker of the day, Pamela Atherton, speaker, talk show host, media trainer. She comes in once a month and gives us incredible marketing and PR training here in 10-minute segments at a time. But today we get a bonus segment with Miss Pamela Atherton. You can look her up on her website, acloserlookradio.com. Pamela, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. And you're medicated? How would I know?
Well, here's the deal.
That was a joke.
Of course. I just got some acai berry emergency, and I'm wishing that it were kumquat instead.
Indeed, because kumquat is delicious.
See what I did there?
Yes, I did, and you are my favorite kumquat.
And back at you. We love having you on the show with us every month, Pamela. Let's talk about follow through. You say it's not just for golf
or for baseball, right?
Right.
Because obviously one of the biggest, and I'm a Dodger fan, you all know, for a lot of people, the resolutions in the new year are to make more contacts and get more business. I mean, I don't know a business owner who hasn't made that goal. So you've booked yourself to do some networking events. You've committed to sending out more cold and warm emails, and you've decided to up your social media game. And that's all good. Those are great things to put on your list. But here's what I'm worried about. You could be sabotaging yourself in one specific way because you may be lousy at follow through. And in fact, it's considered one of the biggest obstacles to business and personal growth, even bigger than not having enough money.
Ooh.
So let's talk about this. First of all, how many stacks of business cards do you have from the last event you went to? And how many of those information did you get into your computer? And how many of those did you send an email or make a phone call? I have little baggies of business cards I've got to get that on the computer. What about you guys?
Tons. And I kind of have them all stacked, and I've got a rubber band around them about which event they came from so that I'll remember once we eventually, get them entered in.
Right.
It seems like it's going to just be quick and easy. It's why we collect the cards, right? It's going to be quick and easy. Get back, call them, follow up, email. Why is that? Because they stack up like little soldiers on my desk.
Well, one of the reasons is we kind of feel rich when we have a stack of business cards sitting there because it's potential, right? There's, look at the potential we've got in that stack. But then we don't do anything with that financial windfall. We don't invest it. And maybe there's some sort of a block to it. I don't know. But there may be some of you out there nodding and smiling and thinking, that's not me. I put the contact info into the CRM. I even sent them an email. I respond to all prospects I get. Well, that's great. But that word that I said was you sent them an email. And you maybe even sent them a second one. But here are some facts and figures that I ran across that were kind of surprising to me. Business people receive an average of 115 emails per day. I'm betting Experience Pros gets more than that. Would you agree?
Yes. I'd like to figure out how to make that number smaller, please.
Let me know if you come up with anything.
Right? I get 115 overnight and then probably another 200 during the day. Now, not all of them are business emails. Some are personal and some are just spam, but I still have to wade through all those emails, right?
Yes.
And my hand, just like that guy in Hawaii, often hits the delete or junk button accidentally, and there went your email, right?
Yes.
So you can see why sending an email is not particularly a good idea. Here's some other figures you might find surprising. They were to me. It comes from Sulata.net. 2% of sales are made on the first contact, 3% on the second, 5% on the 3rd, 10% on the 4th, and 80% of sales on the 5th to the 12th.
Wow.
80% on the 5th through the 12th. And we're sending, an email, 1 or 2.
Good luck getting to be one of that 1 or 2%.
That's amazing.
Right. And you can probably see yourself in this. I know I did. I get an interesting email. I say, oh, that looks interesting. I'll go reread it when I'm done purging the email. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, something urgent comes up. Something needs to be taken care of. I forget it. Okay. So then I see another email and think, oh, that's cool. I should look at that. But I need to finish this big project I'm working on because reading that email isn't as important as what I'm doing now. And then I never get back to it. And then I get another one and I think, oh, yeah, that's cool. I got to do it. And then I don't. Do you see yourself in that scenario?
All the time.
Yeah, sure.
All the time. Yes. Yes. And in fact, Pam, I just read a gentleman, he was talking about the value of that 3rd email and sending the 3rd letter, that how much better response after the 3rd, but that most of us give up after the 1st or 2nd. We don't really even have a plan if I didn't hear back from you after the 1st or 2nd.
Yeah, because then what happens is I feel like I'm bothering you. I feel like I'm pestering you. But from the scenario we just heard, it's not always that. Sometimes it goes into spam. Sometimes it's like, yeah, that's interesting, but. And that was just 4 emails. 48% of salespeople never follow up on a prospect. Never. That's half of the salespeople out there. That's number one figure.
Never.
Going to your point, yep. And 25% who do stop at the 2nd contact, right? So 2 isn't enough. Only 12% make as many as 3 contacts, but maybe not as many as 12, which means you've got to follow up at least 12 times with a prospect before you dump them. And of course, unless they ask you to, always ask if they, stop if they say no. If after 12 contacts you're not getting a response, then maybe it's time to weed your contact list because you're going to get 0 sales from someone who isn't interested in your service or product, and you need to stop wasting your time. But you got to make those continuous emails. I know I don't.
No. And again, because we feel like we're bugging them.
Right.
You've already heard from me, my name, that, do I just send the exact same email again? How many various ways can I can't think of 12 different ways to say the same,
right.
the same thing, Pam. And so, we'd say it once or twice.
There's some research that says you should send the same email more than once. I'm not a fan of that. I want to hear it in a different way. I worked for a man years ago who said to me, if you didn't get the order, it's because you didn't present it to them in the way they needed to hear it. So sometimes you have to flip that switch and say, okay, if maybe they're not concerned about the cost savings, maybe they're concerned about the status this gives them or the time that it saves them. So you try to spin that subject line in a different way, but still with the same information.
That makes a lot of sense. And by shifting it around sometimes, and coming at it from a different benefit angle, that will trigger exactly the response that you're looking for.
When we come back, we're going to talk about how your response time matters when it comes to quotes for your business, how you may be missing out on business through referrals, and 5 tips on how to get in the follow-up groove. Pam Atherton is going to be with us. Follow her at acloserlookradio.com.
We'll be back right after these messages.
You're listening to the Experience Pros Radio Show, America's home for positive business talk.
I'm Tom Busby, CNBC. Stronger than forecast bank earnings leading to a huge rally today on Wall Street, sending all the major averages to new all-time highs. The Dow closing above 26,000 for the first time ever, 8 trading days after topping 25,000. The blue chip stocks today in the Dow, 322 points higher. The NASDAQ up 74. Apple announcing plans to bring back hundreds of billions of cash being held overseas thanks to that new corporate tax cut law, and it'll pay $38 billion in federal taxes on that money. It also plans on building a new U.S. headquarters somewhere in the U.S., creating 20,000 new jobs and giving its workers, some of them, bonuses of $2,500 worth of Apple shares. M&T Bank is hiking wages for workers because of those same tax cuts. And aluminum giant Alcoa missing earnings forecast last quarter with shares down sharply in late trading. It's also slashing pension benefits. Tom Busby, CNBC.
The Larry Elder Show. The Larry Elder Show.
Now, about Haiti. It is a basket case. And how are you helping them by saying anything other than that? What, every country is equally good? You don't want to hurt anybody's feelings? Every country gets a trophy? You get a trophy, you get a trophy, you get a trophy, you get a trophy. Is there a reason why Haitians want to come here as opposed to people here wanting to come to Haiti? Come on, grow up.
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Lars Larson at 10 on Money Talk, 1690 AM.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-500-2319. That's 1-800-500-2319. 1-800-500-2319.
The lending floodgates are open at Stanford Funding. Hi, this is Willie Dan with Stanford Funding. Now has never been a better time to refinance or purchase a home in Colorado. We can still get 30-year fixed rates in the 3s and 15-year rates in the low 3s. So call now at 303-458-8200 and we can get you approved in hours, not days. So whether your credit is perfect or less than perfect, we have the loan program to fit your needs. New on the job, self-employed, primary residence, second home, investment property, does not matter. We can lend on all situations and all types of properties. So call your local Colorado lender now and talk directly to me, Willie Dan. I can personally answer any questions you have and walk you through the loan process myself like I have for so many others in Colorado and get the customer service you deserve. Don't wait. Call 303-458-8200 or apply online at stanfordfunding.com.
NMLS 306720. Credit score 660. Loan to value 90%. Licensed by the Division of Real Estate.
Managing rental property isn't easy.
Yeah, hi, it's me from Apartment G.
Kind of like you're on call 24/7.
My apartment is flooding?
That's why H.E. Smith & Company is always there to help you manage your property.
Yeah, me again. You're not going to believe it, but it's freezing in here.
H.E. Smith & Company, residential property management for single-family homes, condos, townhomes, apartment buildings, everything. We have crews for maintenance. We find and screen the best tenants for you. With H.E. Smith & Company, the only management you have to do is deposit the check.
Yeah, me again in Apartment G. You know the toilet's running and the refrigerator's not.
At H.E. Smith & Company, we've been managing houses and apartments throughout Denver for 40 years. And when we're on the job, you don't have to be. Ask about our comprehensive management program, our free rental evaluation for your property. And remember, there's never a setup fee at H.E. Smith. Learn more today at hesmithco.com.
Yeah, it's me again.
H.E. Smith, always there.
Take your home like it is and let us help you make it like you want it. Hi, Dan Cicchini, Done Right Kitchens and Baths, Windows and Doors. We've been doing just that for over 30 years now. 800-362-8370 or drhi.com.
Hey, we know this radio station is your favorite, but did you know you can find even more great Christian stations now on christianradio.com? More stations, more podcasts, and more uplifting faith-building programs. Download the app now by visiting christianradio.com.
The Experience Pros Radio Show, home of the original Fan Braggin' Fridays. Take just 20 seconds to become a business revolutionary by sharing a fan braggin' story of great customer service by using the hashtag FanBrag or calling the Fan Braggin' hotline at 855-FAN-BRAG, FANBRAG. Now back to Angel and Eric, the Experience Pros.
Welcome back to the Experience Pros Radio Show. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us for ours. We are in the middle of a conversation with our favorite Pam Atherton, and she calls in once a month and gives us enough content to ponder for a month and betters us every single time.
She's a speaker, a talk show host, award-winning media trainer, and we're so blessed to have her here every single month. We're talking about follow-through, not just for golf, not just for your sports game, but how much business is being lost by not following through. And the statistics she shared in the last segment were staggering. If that isn't enough to get you motivated to want to follow through, because there is money sitting in those little soldiers of business cards and connections that you have been making. Pam, how you say the response time actually matters when it comes to follow through for all of these prospects. What kind of response time are we talking?
Right. So what we were talking about earlier was basically kind of like a cold contact or a warm contact, right? But here's the point that happens when people have actually sent you a request for a quote. Okay. Do you put them off because, well, it's your least favorite thing? Well, guess what? 30 to 50% of sales goes to the vendor who responds first. 30 to 50%. Now, you know why? Because once we've decided on the vendor, it's one less thing we have to think about, and we can move on to other parts of our business that we need to be dealing with. So the sooner we decide, the sooner we get back to work. There it is.
So if I understand correctly, then Pam, when somebody writes in and says, "Give me an RFP," the first person to respond to that is likely with like a 50% chance of getting that whole thing.
Yes, right.
Come on.
That's exactly the case. I mean, is that not crazy? But think about it yourself. When, you're waiting for a plumber and you get the quote right away from the first guy and it's 24 hours later and you still don't have the second one, you say, you know what, let's just go with this guy.
I need a plumber.
Isn't that what you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. If you're taking the time, I think as the consumer to reach out to a vendor, I need to now. This is when I'm thinking about it, not 24 hours later, 72 hours later. It's right now. But I also know, Pam, on the other side of that is vendors, I think you kind of take those for granted or think, oh, you know what, I'm busy or I'll get back to that later. And you're saying that's not the case.
Right. And part of that is because life has changed. Technology has changed that. We now have this concept of immediacy. I mean, when you order from Amazon, you expect something here within a minimum of 48 hours.
Yes.
Now, that didn't used to be the case. And if you don't get an answer or you don't get a product within 48 hours, you're kind of missed. You're like, I have to wait a week for this, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I want to tell you a story about this, because a real life story, because it will also explain why there's so much junk on television. My daughter is a digital strategist, but she's also a writer. And several years ago, she decided to go to the first ever convention on reality shows. And so she went to several of the workshops and the panels. And one of those panels was how to pitch a reality show. So she got a lot of good information from that about what they wanted to see and hear. But the biggest pearl of wisdom she got was this. A producer told them that they get thousands of pitches, just like I'm sure you do at the Experience Pros, right?
Right.
And every once in a while, they saw something they thought had legs. And so they got a hold of those people and they said, could you give me a more detailed proposal for the show that you're pitching? And guess what? They almost never hear back from those people. Never.
Really?
Like 90% of the time. Yeah. So the producer says, that's why you get so much junk on TV, because we can't get people to follow through on the good stuff. So his advice was to make sure when the producer calls, you call them back and get your materials to them. So, which also takes us to another step for another time, but basically have your materials ready. Don't be creating a pitch sheet at the last minute when somebody asks for it.
Yeah, let's make sure that we talk about that next month, Pam, because you're absolutely right. When opportunity comes knocking, you have to be ready.
Yeah, you've got to be prepared. All right, so here are some tips for you to help make follow-up a little bit easier. Number one, block off a time every single day specifically geared towards follow-up. And what I mean by that is not just these cold emails, but everything. You just, whether it's an hour or whatever, but every single day, put it in your calendar. Number two, make customer quotes a priority, practically stopping all else that you do, because you're seeding future business and you need to consistently and constantly be seeding.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Number three, commit to writing a certain number of emails per day or per week, both through your CRM, which is your customer relationship software, and personally. I particularly favor writing personal emails because it creates a bond in you with the client or the potential client. And a personal email feels personal. You get a better response because someone feels like they're more than just a client on a list to them. Okay?
Agreed.
Yeah, I think especially in now knowing that it's going to take those up to 12 touches, those 12 emails, that those should be personal emails. They might also get some of your newsletter, your CRM stuff, but I think those 12 need to be personal to count towards that movement of a sale. What do you think, Pam?
Absolutely. I am a big fan of that because I can put more things in there. I can say, hey, Angel, I listened to your show last week where you were talking about how important graphics were and blah, blah, blah. Now you know that I care about you because I know something about you.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yep, I like
Number
that.
4, make one email or call a day asking a happy customer if they can refer someone to you. I don't think I gave you that figure. Did you know that 91% of happy customers say that they will give a referral for you? Because we know that referrals are the best word of mouth marketing, right?
Sure.
91% will do that for you. 11% of salespeople ask for referrals. So asking for referrals is just duh, right? We just aren't doing it.
Wow.
So
we've seen the problem, Pam, and the problem is us. We're leaving all this money on the table because we don't realize.
On the table.
Right. We just ask.
Yep. Right. And here's the thing. If you're going to ask for someone to refer, I say be quid pro quo about it. Don't ask them for a referral without first offering them something of value.
I love that.
And I know you guys talk about that all the time.
Yeah, we really do.
And then finally,
go ahead.
Stop being so salesy and be more solution and relationship oriented. Ask your customers how to serve them better, what challenges they face in their business, because you might be able to solve them. I have a friend who worked for a very large company that we've all heard of, and he said that in sales meetings, they used to call potential customers targets. Well, no one wants to be thought of as a target. We want to think that we're important to you, that we're more than just a line on your Excel sheet. So stop being so salesy.
Stop being so salesy. Every one of those tips is something we can all take action on.
Absolutely.
And just by taking action on, we're going to see results. You want results in 2018? We got to do things different, which means stop stacking up those business cards. Stop only sending one email. Start asking for referrals. I mean, there was a ton of stuff in here. If you missed any of it, of course, you can go back to our Facebook Live and grab it. You can grab it off of our YouTube channel, iTunes, podcast, all of that. Make sure you are subscribing. Pamela, how does our audience stay connected with you?
Well, you can email me at speaker@PamAtherton.com. That one doesn't go into spam no matter what. Speaker@PamAtherton.com.
Okay.
Or get a hold of Angel or Eric on their Facebook page and say, hey, how do we get a hold of Pam? I'm hoping to come up there this year. We're going to put something together to be able to give some information to your folks at Experience Pro.
Yeah, think she's good here in 10-minute increments. Let me tell you, folks, you got to sit in one of her 3-hour training sessions. Truly game-changing for your business all the way around.
Yeah, we'll have to get together your schedule for the year where you're going to be speaking, and definitely get you on the calendar to bring you to Denver this year. This is always good stuff, Pam, and you're always one of our biggest fans among our members, one of their favorite speakers that we bring in. Pam, thanks so much for contributing, for helping us today. I mean, just these tips alone. Right? We're going to get results.
We are. That's Pam Atherton. Thank you again, Pam. We appreciate you for joining us today. Absolutely. And Angel, if we did just one of the things, she gave us many, right? But if we just did one thing today that would make the difference and kick our follow-through game into high gear, we would see results tomorrow.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's so much that is sitting right there, which means all those people you only sent one email to or 2 emails to, you can pick the ball up right now. And if you've got it in your calendar and you've scheduled it in, there's money. And 90% of all small business problems can be solved with more sales. You've got it sitting right there. You're sitting on a gold mine. We've said that for years.
Absolutely. That gold mine being your existing customer database and the potential customer database that you have. Just staggering numbers of the amount of discrepancy. Only 11% are asking for referrals, while 91% are willing to give them. Oh,
yeah. The statistics, mind-boggling. We've seen the enemy. And what did you say? And it isn't.
It's us.
Yeah.
All right, gang. Angel and I will be back to wrap up this program here. Put a bow tie on it. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to the home of positive business talk. This is the Experience Pros Radio Network.
America's home for positive business talk. You're listening to the Experience Pros Radio Show. Contact them on the web at experiencepros.com.
KDMT